Our information is in. Ironman 70.3, Saturday, March 28th, 2026, $663.96 to compete 6 months from now in the 70.3 Ironman in Oceanside. Here we go. And complete.
But first, we've got to talk about the LA Marathon. The LA Marathon was supposed to be my first marathon, and having done the half marathon in Malibu, I felt like my preparation and my training got me ready for the LA Marathon. And in the last video, I know I haven't been as consistent as I told you I was going to be, but the last video was me getting ready to go to LA to check in and to get all my bibs and all that stuff. And I have a lot of that filmed, which I'll overlay on this talking segment as I recap the LA Marathon now 7 months later. But leading up to the LA Marathon, I felt like my preparation and my training got me ready, and I was determined to finish the LA Marathon. Now, driving up to LA, we had our friend Kelsey join us from the Bay Area. She flew down to run this marathon with me. So then we went to Dodger Stadium to pick up our bibs and, pretty much take part in all of the pre-marathon festivities. They had a whole bunch of vendors there. I think ASICS was there, not sponsored, but ASICS, if you want to sponsor me, let me know. We also took a look at the marathon map and to see where the course is taking us. And also Kendall gets a better idea of where to meet us, because she'll be running around and parking and trying to catch us as we, finish this marathon. And then after that, we pretty much headed back to the hotel. We got dinner at the LA Central Market, that area, and did some last minute carb loading and went to sleep early. The next morning, I woke up pretty early and I got in my pre-workout routine or pre-running routine that Mike Check set aside for me. A lot of stretching, a lot of warming up the calves. And that way I felt like my body was warm enough before we got to the start line at Dodger Stadium. And then the shuttle was like an amazing experience, because where we were in the hotel, there was a shuttle pickup station maybe around the corner from us. And so it was like a 3-minute walk. We got to the bus, and the bus was able to take a special route. I guess they held traffic for shuttles only, which amazing planning by the LA Marathon, committee or whatever it is, the organization that threw it. But we were able to get to the start line not too long after we left. And so I felt like the entire process from booking the hotel that has a shuttle or that was near a shuttle and then getting on the shuttle and getting to the start line was the smoothest I have ever experienced. I think back when Kendall took me to the Malibu half marathon, we were in traffic for 30 minutes before the start time. And so that can be very stressful. That's one of the things I do not want to deal with. Just getting mentally ready and getting physically ready for a marathon is to deal with getting to the start line. And I felt like they did an amazing job there. So now we're at Dodger Stadium the morning of the race, and we're walking around and it's freezing out there. We're looking around and we see that there's people with the race blankets. We were like, where'd you guys get that? We checked the med tent and all that stuff. I guess people who have ran the LA Marathon before brought it from the year prior, and they knew that it was going to be cold. We didn't know, but we ended up jumping into a warm-up class session that they had, I think, every 30 minutes or so. But yeah, it was cool just seeing how many people were there. And I think this was the first year that the LA Marathon was completely sold out. I think we had a good amount of time to kill before the race starts. Pro tip: if you want to use the restroom, go inside Dodger Stadium. Dodger Stadium was open, and this was March, so this was before the season started. We were able to see the new field, I guess, renovations. But yeah, go to the restroom in Dodger Stadium, and people stopped at the first 2 restrooms. If you just keep going, there's not a long of a wait instead of doing the porta potties. So there's that. And so fast forward to the race start. It's a slow rolling start because there's so many people and there's so many corrals that have different start times. And so it took a while for us to get started. But the plan was for Kendall and our friends Ev, Byron, and Blake to meet us at every 5 miles. And so for me, mentally, getting to a place where I'm like, all right, I just need to hit 5 miles and I'll see Kendall and our friends cheering me on, and then the next 5 miles and so on and so forth. But that was probably the single thing that I was looking forward to the most. And the energy of the entire city and the volunteers is something that I can't explain unless you're either volunteering or you're out there, cheering, or you're running it. It's just like you feed off this energy. And then also other runners, like you're looking to your left and you look to your right, and there's people who are, cheering each other on. Luckily for me, I had Kelsey. Kelsey stuck with me from the very beginning all the way until the end, even when I was hurting, and I'll get into that in a little bit. But hitting every 5 miles was kind of like my short-term goal of running this marathon. And what also really helped was running through LA. I got to experience LA in like a pretty unique environment where like the entire roads were shut down. And I got to see landmarks that I've never seen before or never really got to enjoy. But after seeing Kendall and everybody after mile 15, that's where things started to go downhill. I think I hit my wall around mile 16 or so. I started cramping up, and I don't know what it was, because the entire training regimen up until this point, all the long runs that I ever did, I've never had to worry about cramping. And here I am in LA on race day, cramping. And I started cramping up on my right side. I had to like limp a little bit, and thankfully some super nice runner came by and was like, "Hey, do you need this? Like, here, like roll some of this balm on your calf." And just like that was really cool, because you get to see the community come together. And when you're all out there running, everyone's helping each other out. And so I started cramping up, and I had to take that mile a little bit slow. I'll leave my Strava like clip here, like what all the mile breakdown is. That's where I started to hit my wall, and I had to do a lot of run walks. And credit to Kelsey. I think I was like, "Kelsey, like, you trained hard for this. You flew all the way down from San Francisco. Like go get your PR, go get your time." And she was like, "Nah, like, I'm not leaving you." And so, and credit to her, because, she stuck by me the entire way. Like mile 20, 22, when it started getting a little rougher, it was bad. And so for me, if Kelsey didn't stick by me, I would have walked way more than I would have. And Kelsey, if you're watching this, thank you. Everybody needs a friend like Kelsey. But yeah, we ended up finishing the marathon, and at the end, it was just beautiful seeing all my friends and family who came out from Orange County on a Sunday in prime time traffic for the LA Marathon with closed roads and all that kind of stuff at the finish line to celebrate an accomplishment. And it was such a crazy accomplishment that I didn't feel like that I did. And I'll get into this a little bit later, but it was really cool just to see everybody come out. And that saying where, it's like it takes a village. My village came out, and their support and their encouragement and all that just means so much to me. And it's all I could think about while I was running. It didn't help that I had AirPods on, and I was in a group text with a lot of different friend groups, just trying to coordinate with Kendall to like meet at the finish line. And if you're running and somebody texts you and you're in the group, it will read the message in your ear. And so I'm constantly like running, and I'm hearing like, so-and-so has said, we just parked, we're about to head out, or we can't find parking. And so that was entertaining to listen while I'm going through the struggle. And the reason why I haven't posted anything since was because I felt like the last 10 miles of the marathon was such a struggle for me. It was something that I wasn't proud of. I had to walk a lot more than I did, that I felt like it was a failure in a way. And when I was talking about this with one of my friends, she was like, how an amazing feat it is to be able to run 26.2 or even walk 26.2 miles. And, it made me think and kind of reframe that mindset a little bit, because in my mind, I made it an obligation to finish this 26.2. So I didn't feel like I could like enjoy it, or when I didn't finish it the way that I wanted to, that it was an accomplishment. And so I had filmed all this footage, and I just didn't want to touch the marathon content, right? Because I was just over it. I didn't want to run. I just didn't want to think about the day. And so it took however many months now, it's so crazy that it's been like 7 months for me to finally, post it and then talk about what we're going to next or what we've done since. But yeah, it was such an incredible experience. I'm now able to say that looking back from this lens. And I think that's what also stopped me from creating new content, was because I felt like I couldn't just jump this marathon chapter without explaining it, and then I didn't want to touch the footage, and so here we are. And so the marathon was in March, and then I think 2 weeks later, Byron, who came out to support me in the marathon, was like, I think I want to do a triathlon. And so I was like, well, you drove all the way to LA to support me in the marathon. If you sign up for a triathlon, I'll sign up with you. And so we started the prep for a triathlon. Now, being an endurance athlete or doing endurance sports is something that I didn't think I would get into. I think I kind of just fell into it. The half marathon was a challenge for me because I felt like, well, I don't think I would ever do a marathon, so I might as well do a half marathon. And then once I finished the half marathon, I felt like I was the closest I would ever be to be able to finish a marathon. So naturally, just did the marathon. And so the triathlon was just like a different challenge. I was just so overrunning that I think up until that point, I think even I took a good couple of months off running before I started running for the triathlon because I was just over it. But the triathlon brought a different challenge to me that I felt was pretty exciting. I was never a swimmer and I didn't have a bike. I did a lot of indoor cycling. Kendall introduced me to indoor cycling over the pandemic and we've gone since then. But I didn't have like a road bike. And so the swim portion was going to be my next like uphill battle. But I think that's where I'm going to end this video. I didn't want to be too long unless that's something that you guys want. Let me know. But I wanted to make this video to put a bow on the LA Marathon and kind of finally put that in the back seat and be done with it. The next video, I'll talk about my triathlon training experience and then how we're going to get into the next phase of where this channel is going to be. Looking back over the last 7 months, I can't believe it's been 7 months, but one of the things that I wish I did better was to publish these videos and to document this process. I filmed a lot, but I didn't publish it because I felt like I had to get this video done first. And so now that this video is done, I hope to have more of a regular uploading schedule. And then hopefully you guys are able to see more content from me. But as I prepare for my training for the Ironman 70.3 in Oceanside in March of next year, I hope to just take you guys along on that journey with me and just to document my life more. So much has happened in the last 7 months that I look back that I wish I hit published more. I have all this footage that I felt like I needed to put out, but I just never did. And so I know you guys have heard that a lot. And so I'm hoping to be better at publishing. And I think in one of the previous videos, I talked about like turning this like DJ stream idea that I had into like a in real life type of deal. And in 2 weeks now, we're going to throw our third event. I filmed a ton of that kind of stuff too. And so I just wish that I documented more. Thank you guys for watching. I know this was a long episode and I hope you guys enjoy it. I enjoyed making it and I enjoyed being back in front of the camera and have all this stuff set up and use this mic more. And so all that's to say is I hope that now that this video is out of the way, we can start publishing more. I'm finally over the LA Marathon debacle and I hope that you guys keep me accountable and I hope you guys really enjoy this video. It will be cool to look back and to celebrate all these different milestones. So thank you guys so much for watching and we'll see you in the next one.